Ibarra went to his room overlooking the river. He sat in a chair and looked up at the night sky through the open window. Across the river, a house was brightly lit, and cheerful music from string instruments floated to his room. If Ibarra had been more curious and used his opera glasses, he might have been amazed by the lively scene, like a magical show in European theaters. The soft orchestra music seemed to create a display of gold and diamonds, with figures like gods and angels appearing in the lights. They danced gracefully, making flowers bloom and music play. In the center stood a beautiful maiden wearing colorful Filipino clothes, surrounded by people of all backgrounds: Chinese, Spaniards, Filipinos, soldiers, priests, old and young, all moving energetically. Padre Damaso stood by her side, smiling happily. Fray Sibila talked to her, while Doña Victorina added pearls and diamonds to her hair that sparkled like a rainbow. She looked very pure and white, and when she smiled, her small white teeth shone brightly. Her dress had sheer drapes, and her neck was decorated with a diamond collar. Only one man in the crowd, a young Franciscan, seemed unaffected by her beauty. He was thin, pale, and watched her silently from a distance. But Ibarra didn't notice any of this. Instead, he focused on something else. Through 4 dirty walls, each with an iron grating, he saw a small space. On the grimy floor lay an old man dying alone. The old man struggled to breathe, turning his head and crying out a name. Sometimes sounds like groans or rattling chains came from the other side of the wall. Far away, a wild party was happening. A young man laughed, shouted, and spilled wine on flowers while his friends cheered and drank. The old man looked like Ibarra's father, and the young man looked like Ibarra himself. The dying old man cried out Ibarra's name. This was the vision that troubled Ibarra. The lights across the river went out, the music stopped, but Ibarra still heard his father's desperate calls. Silence settled over the city, and everything seemed to sleep. The crowing of roosters mixed with church clock chimes and the sad cries of tired guards. A waning moon appeared, and all seemed peaceful. Ibarra, exhausted by his thoughts or his journey, fell asleep. Only the young Franciscan from the party stayed awake. In his cell, he rested his elbow on the windowsill, his pale face on his hand, staring quietly at a bright star in the dark sky. The star dimmed and vanished as the moon's light faded, but the friar stayed still, watching over the Bagumbayan field and the sleeping sea beyond, wrapped in morning mist.